And happy Friday, everyone. My name is meteorologist Heather Kane. It's time for our daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by See-Through Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor Show, as well as Atlas Roofing. Thank you guys for sponsoring our videos. So we do have another chance to see some severe weather from basically western Texas all the way up to southern Nebraska. So we'll get into some more details about that. And then getting into our weekend, it looks like it's still going to be another stormy one. Nothing too significant is expected, but we do have some risk areas to talk about for our weekend. And then getting into the beginning of next week, we could become pretty active once again, so we'll talk about all that as well. Before we get into our forecast, though, today is a pretty big anniversary. It has been 25 years since the outbreak that happened on May 3rd, and of course, all of you here, especially in central Oklahoma, unfortunately, remember the one that kind of sticks out from the group, the F5 that touched down, and it was a 37-mile trail of destruction from basically Amber to Midwest City, so it moved southwest to northeast. And here is the track. So basically around 1,800 homes were destroyed, 2,500 homes were damaged, and around $1.2 billion of damage was estimated from this particular tornado. So you can see it started just south of Amber and it moved off to the northeast, and those numbers indicate the F scale damage that was found. And you can see, unfortunately, where those 4 and 5s are here from basically as it went through more. So all of that information is from the National Weather Service in Norman. They have some more details on their X page as well. So I thought I would talk about that, and rest in peace for those that were killed from all those storms on May 3rd, 25 years ago today. So here are yesterday's storm reports. A pretty busy day here across the U.S. We didn't make any 3-star maps or greater, but we had some activity from Texas all the way up into Illinois and Indiana. We're going to zoom on in here to a few areas. We did have some large hail that happened on the very, very north side of Abilene and parts of western Texas as well. Some scattered reports here in Oklahoma, more in southeastern Texas, and then moving off to the northeast, we had some hail in Missouri and parts of Illinois and in the Chicago metro as well. Again, a bit of an active day yesterday, but nothing too crazy. And hopefully, if I can get this thing to move forward, there we go. So here are current conditions right now. We have some heavy rain across parts of the south. Nothing severe right now, just some heavier storms just north of Houston, heavy rain in Louisiana, up into parts of Mississippi and Arkansas, and then some more showers up north in the Great Lakes region, and even some, unfortunately, some snow is falling in the higher elevations of South Dakota. Sorry guys, that's where I went to grad school, so definitely glad I'm not there at this time. I don't want to see snow in May. But zooming on out, taking a look at our current conditions in terms of temperatures, we got some low 80s basically from Charleston to Atlanta, both sitting at 82, 84 Miami, and more upper 70s to lower 80s as we go into Texas. Cooler low as you head further north, where it's only 65 in Minneapolis and a chilly at 39 in Billings. And our dew points, you can see those values starting to creep up here in the south. So basically, once we get into the mid-60s and higher, that's when you really start to notice that stickiness in the air. So it is a bit uncomfortable as you walk outside in Dallas, where we have a dew point of 70, 69 in New Orleans, and 67 down in Miami. So here's our significant hail model for today. We are expecting some large hail across a decent sized area. I think the largest hail is going to fall here once again in western Texas. This is stopping at 4 p.m. Central Time this afternoon, and you can see those brighter colors here showing up in western Texas. So basically some of the same areas that we saw large hail yesterday, you guys are going to be possibly seeing that large hail once again there today. Then we get into later on this evening, stopping it at 10, some brighter colors still showing up. And then as we get into the overnight hours, they start to diminish a little bit. And then as we get, well, I guess it doesn't want to stop, get into Saturday. That's okay. So this is our the future radar models. So right now we don't have a whole lot going on right now. Again, just some storms north of Houston, nothing severe at this time. But then as we get into this afternoon, stopping it at 5 p.m., some individual cells look like they're going to try and fire up here. The main area that we're going to be watching is going to be basically from San Angelo to Lubbock to Abilene, just like we were keeping an eye on it yesterday. And then as we get through later in the evening at 8 p.m., those storms slowly will track off to the east of San Angelo. Make sure you guys keep an eye to the sky this evening. If you're in San Angelo and you want that hail, do those hail dances. You guys know how it works. And then as we get later on in the evening, that little complex will continue to push off to the east and then lose at least a little bit of its oomph as we get into the overnight hours. And as we get near daybreak, you can see this particular model has it completely disappearing. But then you can see some more activity here in northwestern Oklahoma. So we're going to go into the northern part of the risk now. So right now, not a whole lot going on, but then as we get into this afternoon, this is stopping at 4 p.m. Central Time. You can see some storms trying to fire up in northwestern Nebraska, and more widespread activity is expected as we get later on in the evening. So basically central Nebraska down into Kansas, you can see some individual cells trying to fire up there as well. And then this will all push off to the east-southeast as we get into later in the evening. You can see more of a linear structure here with those storms. So I think as we get later on in the evening into the overnight hours, this should be mostly of a wind threat. Hail cannot be ruled out though with some storms if they can stay by themselves. And then as we get into early Saturday morning, eastern Kansas, parts of northwestern Missouri, central Iowa, you guys could possibly see some severe weather as well. So here we go with our forecast for today. Again, a pretty large area from basically western Texas all the way up to Nebraska. So we'll start here in Texas first. Lubbock, Abilene, San Antonio, I think you guys have the best chance to see that large hail today, up to maybe 2.5 inches in diameter. Low land chance for San Antonio, as well as looks like it's going to stay mostly to the west of Austin. So San Antonio, again, a very low chance. I think the best chances are going to stay to your west and basically further north here into parts of western Oklahoma, the Panhandle, and then moderate chance to see some hail, maybe up to golf ball size in Dodge City. Low land chance for Wichita, KC, and up into Omaha. I think those storms that will be moving through late tonight should be more of a wind threat, but again, we can't rule out some quarters for you guys. And then speaking of wind, basically the same areas we'll be watching for those high winds. So 60 to 70 mile per hour gusts are possible from San Antonio. Again, a low land chance for you guys. Low for Lubbock, the best chance I think will be from Abilene down to Fort Stockton, Midland, and then moving up to the north, some moderate chances to see those gusts here in Dodge City. And then Omaha and KC, we'll see how strong those storms last into the overnight hours. But I do have you guys, as of right now, up to a low and chance for those severe gusts. And then, no surprise, we do have a tornado risk today as well, although it looks to be quite low. So basically from Dodge City all the way down to Fort Stockton, Abilene, Lubbock, we have a low end chance to see a few tornadoes in that area as well. Now getting into tomorrow, some of the same areas once again may see some storms, although we may be watching parts of Oklahoma as well, so stopping it at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. A few storms here in western Oklahoma may be going on, although I'm not really anticipating anything severe tomorrow morning in Oklahoma. But then as we get into the afternoon, stopping it at 1 p.m., you can see some more showers will be moving on through here in Oklahoma City. Some storms trying to fire up here in north central Texas, and then that will continue as we go through tomorrow evening. Sorry, you guys, I guess the stoppers didn't want to work today, but I expect some more scattered activity across the area tomorrow in Texas and in Oklahoma. Again, I'm not really expecting anything too crazy. Should be a low-end chance as we go through the day tomorrow there. But then moving up to the north, so Iowa, I know my states, I swear, down to Missouri, Kansas, you guys will be waking up tomorrow morning with some storms, and then those will continue to push off to the east as we get into tomorrow afternoon, and then that will continue to push off to the east as we get into the rest of the day tomorrow afternoon and evening. So here is our area for, and I don't know why, that is the same, some of the same areas. So again, Lubbock, for Stockton, all the way up to Chicago. Low end chance for you guys, just still moderate chance there in Lubbock and Fort Stockton. And then for the wind, basically the same areas. So basically from Fort Stockton all the way up to Chicago, a low end chance to see those 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts, with Fort Stockton being the highest risk area. And then for tornadoes tomorrow, another small area, again, Fort Stockton up to Lubbock. So again, that is a low end chance for tornadoes for tomorrow. But then as we get into the next few days, here is our jet stream. So there's a little bit of a wiggle here in Oklahoma down into Texas. It's not a whole lot of lift, but there may be enough to get some storms going there. And then as we get into tomorrow, again, nothing too significant. So basically from Chicago all the way down to Missouri, there could be a few storms to fire up, but nothing widespread is anticipated. But then as we get into tomorrow evening, you can see a little bit of disturbance here in Texas, and that may give us somewhat more large hail in some of the same areas once again that we've been seeing the last day or two. And then getting into our Sunday, here comes our next trough. Moving on into the western part of the U.S., a bit of a disturbance here still in the south that could give us some severe weather on Sunday. But then as we get into Monday, that next trough starts to move on in, and we may have to watch the central plains for the potential of severe weather as we get into Monday evening. You can see it starts to get a bit of that negative tilt there. That is a bit concerning, so we'll watch that very carefully as we get into Monday and then into Tuesday as that trough continues to push off to the east. So in terms of our instability, we do have a good amount of it. It's just we don't have a big giant system to provide a whole lot of storms. But the ones that do happen, they could produce some large hail. So you can see those brighter colors here. Lots of instability here in Texas today, and then getting up into parts of Oklahoma this evening. Again, I think the focus will be here for the largest hail in parts of Texas, although hail cannot be ruled out as you go further north to Nebraska. Then getting into tomorrow, we start to reset. Again, just a few little shortwave disturbances moving on through, but that instability is there. So again, if the storms can get going, we can get some large hail here. Basically, Lubbock down to Fort Stockton, Abilene, and then some very low chances as you head northeast all the way up to Chicago. And then as we get into Sunday, again, another area here in Texas that we'll be watching. And then getting into Monday, you can see we really start to see those colors light up here in the Central Plains as we get into Monday afternoon and then still kind of lingering here into Tuesday morning. So here is what we are looking at for the next few days, and for some reason the computer really does not like me today, so I'll basically break it down. So Sunday we are going to be watching parts of Texas into Oklahoma, basically just the southeast of Oklahoma City, getting into Arkansas, and then Monday it's going to be Kansas, Oklahoma City, down into Dallas, and then Tuesday, like we're showing here, because again the computer does not like me today, Arkansas all the way up to Chicago. So it could potentially be a busy few days here at the Hale Palace. So make sure that if you haven't already, follow us on X, Twitter, whatever the heck you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, as well as our YouTube and TikTok page. And make sure you hit see first on our Facebook page so you don't miss any of our live videos. If you would like a demo for our products, you can scan the QR code above. If you have any questions or concerns, you can call 855-334-4245. You can email us at info@haletrace.com and check out our website at www.haletrace.com. And I am meteorologist Heather Kay. I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend.